Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Today on the Doctor's Spell Prognosis, we are going over the spell Raise Dead. And we are given this spell, could have guessed it, we're giving this spell a solid A. It's an A for a player. For the DMs, not so much an A because it's kind of a pain and you have to figure out how to move your story around it in certain story elements. So, but for players, it's a necessary A because death is going to happen, and death for player characters in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition has been diluted down pretty massively compared to previous editions. So, it's pretty straightforward. 5th level spell. It is usable by a whole bunch of different classes. Bards, clerics, paladins. Albeit paladins don't really get it until 17th level. Life domain clerics, it's a freebie for them. Grave domain clerics, it's kind of a freebie on their list. And alchemists, and again, alchemist, artificers don't get this for a while because they're half-casters. But just like Revivify, this changes the game pretty significantly. So we're going to get into that, but let's get into the spell. So it's a 5th level spell. It has an hour casting time, so you're not going to be casting this in combat. If you want to cast one of these kinds of spells in combat, then you need to be casting Revivify. That's your combat-based, I'm going to bring somebody back to life. But of course, that has the limitation of it only being within the first minute of death. It's range of touch, verbal, somatic, and material component. And that material component, just like Revivify, is a diamond. But this one is worth 500 gold pieces, and it is consumed by the spell. So you return a dead creature you touch to life, provided that it has been dead no longer than 10 days. So that's the big difference. We go from 1 minute to 10 days. If the creature's soul is both willing and at liberty to rejoin the body, the creature returns to life with 1 hit point. Now, that sentence right there, the first part of that sentence, can be used as a story arc for a dungeon master. So I want you dungeon masters out there to really think about this for your campaigns and for your dungeons, for your, I'm not going to say storytelling because I don't do storytelling. I run a Dungeons & Dragons game. I don't tell a story. So, creature's soul is both willing and at liberty to rejoin. That means it is in a place where it can come back. If it is being held hostage or being held against its will, I guess you would say, somewhere in the multiverse there is a story there. There is an arc. There is an umbrella arc that can be used by a dungeon master for a hook, line, and sinker adventure for your player characters. It's got to be willing as well, so maybe the soul's being controlled by some evil entity. So at that point, it's either not willing or it's not at liberty. But either way, you can make a story out of that. So, creature returns to life with 1 hit point. The spell also neutralizes any poisons and cures non-magical diseases that affected the creature at the time it died. However, it doesn't work against magical diseases, curses, or similar effects. Those have to be removed prior to casting the spell, and they will take effect when the creature returns to life. The spell cannot return an undead creature to life. The spell closes all mortal wounds, but does not restore missing body parts. So if they had an arm lopped off, that arm's going to be gone when they come back to life. There's some higher level spells, which we'll get into later, that can restore missing body parts. If the creature is lacking body parts or organs integral for its survival, for example, its head or its heart or its liver or its pancreas or both of its lungs, or there are a whole host of organs in your body that you need to have to live. The spell automatically fails. Coming back from the dead is an ordeal. The target takes -4 penalty to all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks, and then every time it finishes a long rest, that is reduced by 1. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. You cast a spell, you got a 500 gold piece diamond, it goes away, it's consumed, and uh, aside from the adventure part of this, if the soul is willing and can come back, it'll come back, and then it's done after an hour. They're going to be down and out for a little while, and you have to deal with this. So as soon as players get this spell, they're going to use it. That's why we give it an A. It's used in every game, and it's used a lot. I mean, just look at Critical Role and how many times they use Raise Dead, and how much work Matt Mercer has to go into creating story arcs and adventure arcs that deal with that particular aspect of the game. But once your players get it, it changes the game, just like Revivify does, but this one changes it even more because now they can do this out of combat. They don't have to really worry about if somebody dies, well, then we'll just raise them later on. As long as they can get them within 10 days. And Gentle Repose actually will extend that out quite a bit. So it kind of makes death irrelevant, except for the diamond part of it. So, but as a DM, you need to be ready for this one. As soon as players get it, they're going to use it, hands down. That's what's going to happen. And once they get access to this spell, they are then going to do pretty much everything that they can to stockpile diamonds. So you need to start thinking about the diamond economy in your game, because again, players will go and try to hoard diamonds because in addition to this spell, there's a lot of other spells that also require diamonds or diamond dust. And they're all very similar to this. They're kind of necessary spells because they're usually the only spell that does a certain thing. And your players will go and try and get diamonds. For players, go out and get those diamonds. Now, it's 500 gold every time you have to cast this, which is not an insignificant amount. But for higher level players, it can be an insignificant amount. So for 9th level characters, which is when they first get access to this spell, not necessarily an insignificant amount. That is a pretty hefty amount. But like I said, there's going to be other spells that they start having access to that will also cost money. And I just want to go through a couple of these. So 3rd level spell, Glyph of Mourning, Powdered Diamond, worth at least 200 gold pieces, which is consumed. This is a great spell. I've seen people use it. We've gone over it already. Revivify is the baby brother to Raise Dead. That is diamonds worth 300 gold, which the spell consumes. So the big difference between this and this, other than the 1 minute, but for the material cost, this is a diamond worth 500 gold pieces. This is diamonds worth 300 gold pieces. So your players could have 6 50 gold piece diamonds, which are probably pretty dinky tiny, not even 0.25 carats diamonds. So this one is a diamond worth 500 gold pieces. That could be a rare item in your adventure world. Could be a very rare item in your adventure world, and it could result in all kinds of adventure arcs to go find all of those diamonds once your players get access to this spell. All right, Greater Restoration. This is the last one we're going to go over. It's Diamond Dust worth 100 gold pieces. 5th level spell. Again, this is another one of these that we have gone over this spell already. Petrify is a bad condition, and this one gets rid of it, and it's one of the only spells that does it. It'll get rid of a curse or a cursed item. Reduction in target's ability score. So, but again, this is Diamond Dust worth 100 gold pieces. Not a diamond. This one is a diamond worth 500 gold pieces. Now, I made a list here of cleric spells that require a material component, and they're in order by level. There's 4 pages of them, so we can see them all here. Unfortunately, I don't think you can really... And if anybody knows how to do this, leave it in the comments. But I don't think you can actually go through this to figure out what the material component costs. I've never used this little... Yeah, this just expands it. So we can look at that. For instance, Dispel Evil and Good, Holy Water, and Powdered Silver and Iron, which is all worthless. But Hollow requires herbs, oils, and incense worth at least 1,000 gold pieces, which are consumed. So that one you do have to come up with. Planar binding. A jewel worth at least 1,000 gold pieces. A single jewel, which the spell consumes. So you need to work this out with your players. And if you're a player, you need to work this out with your DM on how you're going to get these material components, particularly for Raise Dead, since Raise Dead is so important to the game. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.